Hello everybody and welcome to my channel Sewing Made Easy. Although today it is not really about sewing, it's more about making a pattern. And the pattern I would like to explain to you how to make it is about those trousers. I call them my butterfly trousers because there's so much material worked into it, put into the pattern, that it could look like I'm going to take off like a butterfly at any moment. It is not difficult whatsoever to do this pattern, as you will find out while you're watching it, as you can take as a basis for this pattern any kind of trousers or legging pattern that you have at home. And then it's very easy to do the rest of it. But let me explain to you what all you can do with this. You can of course just make a pair of trousers out of it, where you add in the side a zipper as I did, although mine is an overall as you can see, and I worked my zipper all the way to the top on the side into here. But you might not want an overall, you want just the trousers. So as I said, you put the zipper on the side. On the other side, if you wish, you can put yourself an extra pocket in here, which I will explain to you on the pattern. You might think I got a pocket here, but I don't. This is only the width as the pattern was formed and made. And if you do want to make an overall out of it, you can choose any top pattern that you do have at home. Just consider if you have one with two shoulders or even with an arm in it, then don't forget to work out where you're going to put the zipper to get into the overall. All these are things you got to think of before you do the cutting for your overall or for your trousers. If you just want trousers out of it, of course a very easy way is to just take a finished elastic band to use as the belt. Because then all the ruffle you got to work into here, you can add together with the elastic band. And then you don't need a zipper, of course. That's a very nice thing to work out with then. That would be a very easy way to do as well. The material I've chosen for this particular one here is a silk jersey. Silk jersey because a silk jersey always has this wonderful flow in the material, as you can see on my draping here. Towards the bottom, I of course made them very narrow, like a pair of leggings, because that again gives you a nice thin leg. Even if you might have a bigger size, this still will make your legs look very thin and very nice. So as I mentioned before, it's not difficult to do this pattern, so why don't you come along and watch me how you can do it for yourself as well. As a base to make this particular pattern, you should have a normal pattern of trousers or a leggings pattern. And as I always say in all my videos, if you make a new pattern from a pattern which you develop on, you should never cut up your original pattern, which probably fits very well, you're satisfied with it, but you make copies of this. So you always have, for any other pattern you like to make later, you have your original pattern. So you see the back trouser and the front trouser, and I made the copy of it. So I don't need them anymore, I put them on the side. To start with now, have a look where approximately is the height of your knee. If you can't see it on the pattern, then measure it from your ankle up towards your knee and mark it then in the centimeters of your particular pattern. As you can see here, I got different measurements. I got a smaller version so you can really see it well in this video. Now in case if your pattern that you're using now is a leggings pattern, you already will have a small leg here and nothing needs to be done all the way to the knee because it's tight on your leg already anyway. But that is the reason why I'm using a normal trouser pattern, so you see which changes you got to do here on the bottom. Of course it also depends on how tight you wish to have them from the ankle to the knee. That is all up to you. So in my case I just show you now how I will make them tighter by marking on the bottom something in, and the same I do right away in my knee area, which I marked here. Then I just connect those two lines for a start, which I later will even out a little bit better. This goes a little bit wider here right away because of your leg is always smaller there anyway than towards the knee, as you know. Now let's look at the darts. You might have 1 or 2 darts in the back of your trousers, and in the front you might just have a fold over here or as well a dart. So from now on immediately you totally ignore all the darts you might have in the pattern. Now to give you an idea about the sizes, I say let's take the case. Your waist measurement is exactly 100 centimeters. And your pattern, when you're measuring it, all the 4 parts together, the 2 back parts and the 2 front parts, would be 100 centimeters, as you got it lying here. They might be quite similar to each other. Not totally, but quite similar. And that is the reason also why I'm starting with the back trousers, because they're usually a little bit wider. So take this measurement that you got here. Let's say this is now 25 centimeters from there to there, and multiply this by 2.5. That means from your 25 centimeters now you have a length here of 62.5 after you multiplied it by 2.5. So in my case I would have here on this particular one about 17.5, but don't go by my measurements. Very important. You taking your measurements, multiply 2.5. Now I take this point on the width that I want to add approximately on this point there. And however, you can also measure it with a ruler, of course, but it's very easy to just make a little line right there from this point on, so I know this is my 2.5 multiplying width from this point on to there. Take a ruler and extend your waistline here, but you only need to scrabble it like this so you see it a little bit, because it's a line we don't really need. It's only a helping line, because from this helping line on now you measure 15 centimeters upwards towards your new line that you just draw there a moment ago. So as I said, you have a look where will they meet, and you mark your 15 centimeters from that point to this point. 15 centimeters. Now with a straight line connect these 2 points. You can also only scruffle it slightly, as again it's only a helping line. Take one of your tailor rulers and slightly curve it, while the beginning of this corner should stay for the first 2 or 3 centimeters totally straight and flat. And again, now make your proper line. You can see here was my first one, which was drawn straight, and now with my 3 centimeters in a right angle here in my middle back of the trousers, and then a very little slight curve to my point up here. Now we need to draw another line from this point over to your left, which should be approximately parallel to this helping line you draw there a moment ago. So from this point parallel to this helping line you now draw 18 centimeters across. As you can see, as if you would be running parallel to this line, you draw this one, because this 18 centimeters will be either on your side for the zipper or for a pocket, which we will add on in a moment. And now we have to connect this point from the knee upwards to this point, because that will be our new side seam that we're drawing here right now. Best take a normal pencil in the beginning and draw yourself the idea how wide you like to make this. You can start lower down. It all depends on how much material you want on the side, because you have to think about it. All this is going to be ruffled in right here, so then all this falls down onto your side, as you've seen in the beginning of the video on my picture. So after I've done a brief drawing first on this, I consider, do I want it a little bit lower or do I want it higher? Maybe you've drawn it too flat and you draw a new one until you're satisfied with it. So I think I'll make mine a little bit bigger down here and just go there to my point. Like I'm saying, this is all up to you, how much material you like to have on the sides hanging down, and it depends of course on your material. If you have a chiffon, a very, very light material like for the summer, you can even add more into here. But if you have, let's say, a cotton jersey, like on my tiger outfit that you saw, that's a little bit thicker than the silk one that I was wearing. The yellow one is a silk jersey. They both fall totally different. The silk jersey has a flow in the material, while the cotton jersey is a little heavier, so I added just a little bit less in that when I did it than in comparison to the silk one. So more or less this side is finished. Now you see this one we haven't done yet, but that is easy. You go as far up as you wish, but then let it run back into your seam right there, because this is your seam in the middle, in the back in the trousers, and that should not be touched. The same later on in the front. This will not be touched. We're only changing practically the side seam. We're getting all the material for the ruffling in here, and we made the leg a lot smaller so it's tied on. But of course also if you say, no, I don't want them tied at all, I want them to fall really nicely flat down, then you don't need to do that change. Then you leave it and you have the width running right into here, into your curve. With other words, my back trousers are totally finished now already, the pattern, unless you decide you want a pocket on here. On one side a pocket, on the other side the zipper, but we gotta think about this right away, because you can cut it in one go on, or you can cut an extra pocket of course as well and then stitch it on. So let's take the case you definitely want a pocket, unless you're just gonna ignore this what I show you now, as this is exactly on the side what I showed to you on my outfit earlier on. This is gonna fall down, so you want your pocket right here, whichever shape you wish to make. As this is falling, you can actually make it a little bit smaller there and rather go quite straight down here so the stuff doesn't fall out. So this is your pocket, and that means now I can cut this pattern out. And you got to think about it. Would you like to add your seam allowance onto it right away, or you're going to consider that later? But I suggest always write all these ideas onto your pattern right away. Then you don't forget, because I know you do this pattern now and maybe in 1 year you get it out again because you want to make a new outfit like that again for you, and you've forgotten, did I have the seam allowance on here or did I not have it on? So write it on however you've done your pattern. And now it gets real easy. You take the just new drawn part, you flip it over and you put the bottom of the back from the trousers exactly in the middle of your front trousers. So you can see both sides you have approximately the same distance. And the bottom you're drawn already. So now all the way approximately to the knee, as you've done it here, you do this no drawing. After that you can check to make sure if you got the same length. As you know, this is your inside seam of the trousers. This one will be stitched onto that. So that's got to have the same length for sewing, so check that over if that is the same length. And now it gets real easy, as you take this corner where we started our sideways drawing and put it right on top this one here. And look to the bottom and put it again in the middle between the two seams that you just marked there upwards. And now you can see it's slightly changed here inward, and that is good. That makes the fit much better. And now you go exactly around your line that you got here from your back trousers. Probably not so easy to see as it's all in white here. Even I got problems seeing it. So we go around the pocket here, which we might want to put in, and we go along the top right here. Now I take this part off. I know this was my straight line here, for either where the zipper goes in, same as on here, as you can see, or it is my pocket right away. That means the way I did it here, I didn't have to measure any of this that we did here. We just folded it over. And what's good about it, without checking, I know now that my side seam which has got to be stitched together right here. This part with that part will be stitched together. I know it's exactly the same length. I don't need to do any checking because I only transferred it over from the back to the front piece. So let me cut this out and I'll show them again to you so you really know what they're going to look like. And there you go. These are your two parts. I know they look enormous, but it's exactly how you got to do it. And as I mentioned before to you, that maybe you don't want to put a zipper in, and if you only do the trousers, you can buy yourself some of these finished elastics, of course in the color to go with your trousers, or with a nice contrast, of course, also possible. Then you would ruffle everything in exactly to the width how you want your finished elastic band on the top, and then you can do your pockets on the side there, and the trousers are done in no time because you officially only got 5 seams. You would first close the inner leg, then you put these together, and then you close your side seams. And you have to ruffle from here on, not this part, because there goes either the zipper or your pocket, and that's the part that also hangs down right away. But this you have to ruffle in all the way to there, and the same about this. This is your whole ruffling area from there to there. But let me show you how it actually looks on the material itself from my yellow overall. And as I don't need a new suit like this, I just opened up from my suit one of the sides so you can really see what this actually looks like when you have this piece as a material cut. It looks huge, it really does, because you got all that width in the material in. And you can see here, this is my back part of the trouser, and here goes this sideways cutting up part that I showed you here. And there you got your 18 centimeters, which on one side you can work a pocket into this, or on the other side, as I got my zipper in here, because that is actually the best to use for, that's why I'm making it 18 centimeters as well. So if you have your waist belt here, then you can easily put that zipper into this side part in. But otherwise, this is so easy to make that I can only hope you're going to try this. Then you ruffle all this up and it just falls beautifully. But important, of course, is the material that you're using. As I got this silk jersey here, and this is just the best material, for my opinion, for this particular suit. So in case if you start doing this pattern now, then I wish you much success and enjoy wearing this part, because everybody's gonna ask you, where did you get that? This is gorgeous. This looks beautiful. This is just amazing. So, have fun, and I'll see you later again. Take care and stay healthy. Goodbye.